afternoon, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to Germany. Welcome to Darmstadt. Norwich City starting their German tour with a game against newly promoted Bundesliga side Darmstadt this afternoon in what was a fabulous stadium. I actually planned to set up the other way, but basically you wouldn't have been able to see my face, which might not have been a crying shame, but from video perspective, maybe wouldn't have been great to watch. The Norwich City team is in, and they line up like this. Krul in goal, Stacey, Duffy, Gibson and Yanulis are the back four. Gibbs and McLean are the midfield pairing, with Hernandez on the left, Rowe on the right, and Nunez playing behind Josh Sargent. The subs bench, Berry, Reyes, McCallum, Mumba, Omi Ramadeli, Tomkinson, Fisher, Sorensen, Schollis, Kamara, Poeta, Springett, Barnes, Ida. We're at that stage of pre-season where the substitutes are, the list is lengthy, but essentially we're expecting changes at 45 minutes, 60 minutes, 75 minutes. So we're expecting probably a bit more staggered. So Ashley Barnes, for example, he played 60 minutes at Kings Lynn, may only get 15 here tonight, as an example. I'm not saying that's necessarily going to be the case. So that is the Norwich City starting 11. Paddy will be joining me shortly. He's just finished, hopefully. He's just finishing something off, a bit of work, not anything other than that. So that's how Norwich City line up tonight. Interesting to see Josh Sargent. He's going to be exposed by himself in that more advanced role. Marcelino Nunez, we've been talking so much. I think me and Paddy spoke about it on the podcast, about him in a deeper role. He's going to be pushed up and he's going to play behind Josh Sargent tonight. Liam Gibson, Kenny McLean, that midfield axis is going to be interesting. You would like to think that they can provide the energy and the athleticism that Norwich City will want, and what David Wagner wants from his system. John Rowe and Onel Hernandez on either side. Brilliant. So let me know what you hear from the team. Of course, any questions as well. I'll start with Ben. Thanks for watching on YouTube. And I have to say as well, we've hit 8,000 subscribers on YouTube. So thank you to every single one of us for your support on that platform. Of course, we'll have post-match interviews with David Wagner, who I can see just down to my left, and various other bits throughout the week here in Germany as well. Ben, to answer this, I think David Wagner kind of penciled him in for the Kaiserslautern game as the first one. He is here in Germany. He's been in some of the training clips and pictures and whatnot that the club have put out. So he's definitely there. Good evening. Thank you very much. We're an hour ahead here, and I have to say it's been very, very hot, which maybe links to Tom's question. I'm enjoying it. It's been good so far. We're based in Frankfurt. We took a train here this evening. We'll then obviously be going back. We're staying not too far away from Frankfurt station, and then obviously we'll be training to Kaiserslautern on Saturday as well. So it's been good. It's been a good experience thus far. So there you go. I'm hoping Paddy's going to join me anytime soon. But Norwich City, crawling goal. Stacey, Duffy, Gibson, Shane Duffy getting another opportunity after we saw him given 45 minutes on Saturday. Jack Stacey at right back is a good one. Ben Gibson and Yanulis, hello mate, complete the back four. Gibbs and McLean as that midfield axis, as we said. Hernandez, Rowe, Nunez behind Josh Sargent, which is interesting. And here we go.
Guten Tag.
There's Mr. Paddy Davitt. What do you make of the team, Pad? You've seen it. What do you make of it?
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it must confess, scroll up a little bit, Connor, because I've just been firing the names on. Barnes is on the bench, isn't he?
Yeah, I'll read you the bench. So it's Berry, Reyes, McCallum, Mumba. Berry is a goalkeeper, by the way. Omi Ramadeli, Tomkinson, Fisher, Sorensen, Schollis, Kamara, Poeta, Springett, Barnes, and Ida.
Yeah. I just wanted to double check, even though I've just done the team news story for the websites. But I mean, different change of shape. Already starting to see a few partnerships form. I'm just thinking of Duffy and Gibson, Stacey and Yanulis. Could see that with a view to,
Could you see that being the back four?
Yeah, I could do actually. Yeah, I think Stacey's nailed on. I think Duffy is. I think Gibson at this point. Bamideli's on the bench tonight, so he comes into the equation. Subject to nothing happening in terms of his future and where that might lie. But further forward, Gibbs and McLean. Well, that's got a look of kind of tried and trusted about it, albeit injuries and kind of changes in kind of shape with Zara thrown into the mix. He kind of went away from that, but when he first got in there, I could see Gibbs and McLean potentially with a view to the championship. And then probably the most intriguing element of that 11 for me, because we talked about it at length on the podcast.
Yeah, I've just mentioned that. Yeah,
Nunez. Yeah, exactly. Because obviously the first two games, more of a deeper line, kind of in the areas of the pitch where you'd expect Gibbs and McLean tonight. And David talking about he can do things. Maybe he doesn't believe himself how good he is and that he could do it. needs to tidy up on a few areas, turnovers and losing the ball in key areas. But having said all that, tonight he's back in where I think most people naturally, certainly I do anyway, think he could be more effective, which is in an advanced area of the pitch where he's very good on the ball, technically very good. And it's an opportunity tonight, isn't it, I guess, to see how, that him and Sargent access. A lot of talk was made rightly at Kings Lynn of the Barnes and Sargent kind of mix. But, Nunes has to be in the equation because they do need that type of player in that area of the pitch, I think. So, and Johnny Rowe, it's good for him as well. That, to me, signals that, he's really put a step forward in David Wagner's eyes because he's starting ahead of one or two other wider options tonight. So we just had a quick chat there with Neil Adams, technical director before the game, and, he said he probably expects changes again at 45 and 60. So it feels like a lot of those players on the bench will get a go tonight. But this should be a good test, certainly a step up with no disrespect to Barnet or Kings Lynn, a team who are back in the Bundesliga. And Neil seems to think they'll be in the region of about 6,000 or 7,000 here tonight. So, a real good step forward, hopefully. And Norwich, in terms of what they offer on the pitch, buy into that. And we see something a little bit more than we've seen in the last two games. And then, despite, the blow of losing Borja Sainz, that incremental bits of optimism hopefully can start to build because, they're going to need to be from where they finished last season to starting against Hull on August the 5th. That's huge amounts of progress needs to happen, and these are the building blocks, and hopefully we'll see one more tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Kenny McLean captains the side. I think he did at Kings Lynn as well. Obviously, Grant Hanley, club captain, is absent, and he's expected to be absent for quite a prolonged period of time. What do you make of that? Because for all of the experience that has been brought in, he is seen as somebody who, I suppose, can take on that leadership role, has taken on the leadership role. Anyone who's watched the Norwich City game will know how vocal he is. I know he has his critics as well. But it's clear that David Wagner views him as a massive part of his team moving forward.
Well, I think that is nail on the head for me, Connor. That he will have within his mind's eye clearly his pillars within his 11, not just his squad at 11, if fitness and injury don't intervene. And I think McLean is very much in that. That there has been a lot of discourse again in social media circles over the summer about they need to go and do a DM. They need to go and get a skipped style template of player.
You having that, by the way?
Yeah.
Delayed entrance.
Oh, charming that is. Yeah, if only. We'll talk about that on the pod. There has been sausages consumed by both of us. Quite a few as well, actually. Yes. But anyway, you throw me off there with that. But Kenny McLean is, I think, going to be quite an integral figure for Norwich this season. And if that's the case, and you're looking in terms of the captaincy dimension for leaders who are going to be there game in, game out, then you probably bracket him in with a Barnes, maybe a Duffy. But beyond that, I'm struggling, given that, Hanley, we don't expect back before 24. So, yeah, there might be something in that. I mean, he captained the side at Kings Lynn as well, I think, when he was on the pitch, McLean. So he's certainly of the right age. You would think that he could step forward and could be that leader. We know how big he is in the change room, what a massive personality he is. We've all seen that, and balconies and drink and what have you. So, he clearly is a big personality. And on the pitch, if he can play a little bit in that fashion, then because there are a lot of younger players in and around him in this mix. So, I personally, if we started at Hull and it was Kenny McLean leading them out, I'll be more than happy with that, I think.
Yeah, just as I speak, you're going to try and spin my laptop to give people a view of this stadium, which has upgraded significantly, I think, particularly that far stand, which was pretty open-ended at one stage. We've still got a standing terrace just to our right here. The stand we're in is very nice by all accounts in terms of this kind of main stand. And then you've got a stand over there just to the left. But as Paddy mentioned, around 6,000 fans expected in here tonight. But that's only the tickets sold, really. There are expected to be more than that on walk-ups. And actually, I've just kind of walked round. It's fairly open-ended as you walk around the back. And there's absolute queues of people who are waiting to be let inside this ground. So I think we're going to have a pretty decent attendance here, and a fair few travelling Norwich fans back, because we've bumped into quite a few of them already.
We did, yeah. They, all the old favourites. I've seen some of the German Canaries, so I expected them here, but I won't name him, but he's well known to anybody who's been on a Norwich tour, and he's got ferries and driven down, and is staying for the duration, and may even take in the 21s who are playing in Slovenia. So that is dedication. But funny enough, mentioned Neil Adams, it's just popped into my head. He said he wandered down into the town, which is just over to there. Actually, not far at all, are we, from the main hub of Darmstadt this morning? And he was surprised. He had one or two Norwich fans asking him for pictures and selfies and what have you. So there was a few on our plane, wasn't there? There was a few on our train as well to Frankfurt, where we're based.
On the bus.
Sorry, bus. Yeah. So we've got a train today. It's all merged into one, our transport modes. But and I think we spoke to one or two at Barnet who were looking at these two games and thought Kaiserslautern, because it's the weekend and a bit more favourable in terms of logistics. So I think whatever's here tonight, it'll be that and more at Kaiserslautern, and we're looking forward to that stadium as well, aren't we?
We definitely are. Yeah, I think that's a near 50,000 seater stadium, so that's going to be immense to visit there. It's interesting. You spoke to David Wagner after Lynn and kind of previewed this trip, and he spoke about the level of opposition increasing and maybe to a level that they couldn't get if they stayed in England. This is obviously Darmstadt's first friendly of their summer. They ended in the Bundesliga 2, got promoted, obviously now back into the Bundesliga alongside Heidenheim and whoever came up through the playoffs. It's escaping me at the moment, but it's going to be a real, to these next two games really, you bracket them together, really stern tests, given obviously you're playing a team that's going to be playing in the Bundesliga. I'll try and find out in a minute if Christoph Zimmermann is starting for them. And then Kaiserslautern in a massive stadium, in a fantastic arena to play football.
Well, that's something we'll put the quotes out there this afternoon a bit earlier. I mean, that's basically what David Wagner said when he was talking about this week, is that those two that you've mentioned, it's the level of opponent that they can get. He doesn't feel they can get that level of opponent in England at the moment in terms of the pre-season. So they're here primarily for opposition. And as you say, one now back in the Bundesliga, the other massive club in Germany, massive support base. You were talking about their memberships. It's right up there, isn't it, in terms of the volume of support they've got. Kaiserslautern, solid Bundesliga 2 team as it stands. So that's why they're here. Yes, it's about the base fitness work and continuing that, but it does feel like we're tilting now towards levels of opposition that can test and that they can try things out. And of course, after this, you're playing Alkmaar next week, and Final Four in a European competition last season, that tells you that level. And to lose one of the better sides in Ligue 1, and even Olympiacos back at Carrow Road, the penultimate weekend before the league season starts, they're a very serious outfit in Greek football, serially in Europe. So it does feel like the level of opponent starting tonight is just increasing, and as a result, Norwich's performance levels need to increase as well. I think speaking to one or two inside the camp, that they would accept Barnet. It wasn't very good that night, was it, really? I mean, there was, the weather was ropey, and so was a lot of Norwich's play on the night, although Barnet, by all accounts, have gone on and beaten Palace, apparently, in pre-season since then. Yeah. So Kings Lynn, it didn't really feel like the level of opponent to test them really sufficiently, and you could see that, the manner of the scoreline. But I think tonight we might learn a little bit more about this Norwich collective and where David Wagner is trying to take them to, because, you know for a fact that Darmstadt will be well prepared even at this stage of pre-season, and they will be keen. First game, isn't it, in front of their home fans since they clinched promotion. Yeah. They'll be keen to carry on that momentum. So there's no doubt Norwich will be put under the pump tonight. Let's see how they react. Yeah, and just finally, obviously Christoph Zimmermann, we expected to be involved for Darmstadt tonight. He's done a lot of speaking to obviously internally to Darmstadt and their media channels about this game. He's been to watch Norwich City train this morning. They've been training. There's just some back pitches just behind the stadium where Darmstadt train. That's where Norwich City have been put through their paces this morning and yesterday as well, I think. It's going to be nice to see him, isn't it? I think that's what there is to say about it. You can let the good people know you're going to have a good chat with him after the game. We've queued that up, and he was very amenable. So I know he's done a lot of media pre, but we'll throw a few more Norwich-focused questions at him. And we all know what an impact he left as a person as much as a player, and
it's gone really well for him, hasn't it?
Yeah, and that's good to see, because it doesn't always go to plan, doesn't it? But he came back to Germany with his young family, and he's got, as he said in that round of media earlier in the week, he's now got his first, at 30 years of age, his first opportunity to play in the Bundesliga, which for a young German boy or girl, I'm sure is the dream, isn't it? So, it's good because he's a nice guy, and you like to see good things happen to good people. So, yeah, not tonight, obviously, but after the game, I'm sure he'll be his usual amenable self. So, yeah, we'll look forward to that interview that you're going to do with him, Connor.
Good stuff. And of course,
Connor, I've just got a question here, because we touched on this on the pod earlier. It's not about sausages.
I was going to say, it's not food, is it?
It was, if I find it, there. Ben's asking, how was your first flight? Which, if anybody doesn't know, we explained on the the recent podcast that this was going to be your first experience of air travel.
Well, my first thought as I got off or got on and we were into flight was, wow, taking off is a weird sensation, isn't it? Just a bit weird, isn't it?
What, just fast?
I don't know. Just sort of...
just the looking out the window and you're flying?
Just all of it. Just sort of, okay. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but that was just a bit weird. But not bad weird, just weird.
Okay.
It was only 55 minutes to fly, wasn't it? So it wasn't too bad, to be completely honest. And it wasn't uncomfortable.
What's Jez on about here? Not tonight, I haven't. No, maybe last night.
Sure?
Maybe last night. Got Adam in front of me. Adam, there's somebody on here asking, have we had too many Steins already?
We've had a few, but not many.
No, you didn't hear him say that. He didn't say we'd had a few, no. So there. Maybe as the tour elapses and we do the actual thing we're out here to do, which is work, then but no, I can categorically deny there's been no Steins consumed today.
This is unravelling. How do you see tonight going? I mean, the scoreline doesn't matter, right, in these type of things. But what are you hoping to see for Norwich? That increase in performance that we spoke about earlier.
Yeah, I think. Result is irrelevant, but I mean, it comes more often than not with a good performance. So let's get the basics right. Let's start to see a little bit more than we've seen, because probably of the level of opponent, because they will be tested tonight defensively. And we know, of course, there's an Angus Gunn to drop into there. There's one or two other potential options, Barley Mumba. So this isn't set in stone in terms of the 11 for Hull, but you would like to start seeing a bit more of, I can see where he's going with that, in which area of the pitch, and that could work maybe as they move into the Championship season. So, personally, I'd like to see a little bit more of Barnes and Sargent. Maybe we'll get that opportunity in the second half. But
he did play 60 minutes on Saturday.
Yeah, so maybe not. Maybe Kaiserslautern and they'll aim him at. And obviously, David did say, just popped into my head, Omar Bamadeli hopefully would get his first minutes of the tour. Pre-season on this tour. If he plays tonight, second half maybe, then it'd probably be good to see him and see where he's at in terms of his fitness. So, I think really, what do we want? We just want to go away thinking, okay. Irrespective of the result, I like facets of that performance, and there's something to build on, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we're out here thanks to our proud sponsors, Cavill Healthcare. We're delighted to team up with them. All of their details running across the bottom of the screen now. You can find out more about them if you're looking for a career in care. If you're looking for care for a loved one, then that is the best place to go. They do some brilliant work in East Anglia, in Norfolk in particular. And as I say, if you're interested in working in care or are looking for the care of a loved one, all their details are at the bottom. So go and check them out. And all of the coverage will be across the Pink 'Un channels. I'm on the live blog this evening, so if you'd like to come and keep me company on the Pink 'Un Plus app, please do. We'll speak to David Wagner after the game. Plenty more analysis and reaction as well. That interview with Christoph Zimmermann that Paddy spoke about, looking forward to catching up with him later. So plenty coming across the next few days. And of course, we'll be at Kaiserslautern on Saturday for the second and final game, and also the open training session on Friday, which they've announced. So for all of that good stuff, make sure you keep it locked to the Pink 'Un channels. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you're enjoying your evening, and we'll see you again very soon.